So we are going to a mode where we are going to share about states, dictionaries, lists, and tuples. Starting with lists, these are mutable, as in they can be changed. But then for tuples, they cannot be changed. Lists specifically are ordered mutable and allow specific duplicate values. Also, they are written using square brackets. This is how specifically we can represent a list of items. For example, maybe having a list of fruits or a list of people. When we use fruits, and say fruits, we have been calling this a variable. Then when we use square brackets, it becomes a list. So we are going to say fruits. For example, we say pineapples, we say oranges, we say mangoes. Because these are strings, we are going to put them in square, not in square, but we are going to put them in quotations. Yeah. So we have quotations here. Every string in its own quotations. Quotations here, quotations here, and quotations here. So this is a list of fruits, and now we can choose which fruit we want to output. For example, when we want pineapples, we name their places as in give them values. For example, this is this can be represented by 0. This is 1. This is the place holders. Yeah. So we shall say print. We say fruits, just fruits without specifying which ones we want to output, when we want to output, and then we run. This is what is going to be output. Pineapples, oranges, and mangoes. This is what we shall see. But then, when we want only the pineapples, we can say press number. I said press number 0, and then we run using F5. Notice what we have. Let me share it as well. Okay, you're seeing it now. So we have pineapples as the output. Yeah, so now when we want oranges, we can say print fruits, and then we change this to 1. Yeah, we can have oranges. Yeah. So that is specifically a list of items, how it is represented, and how it can be called using code. Then that was accessing elements, and then we can talk about modifying a list. How can we modify a list? For example, we have pineapples, oranges, and mangoes, and then we want to have some other element or some other item inside this list of fruits. As I said, these are mutable, so you can add in items and then you can delete items in it without manually doing it using the code. Now we can say fruits. And when we say fruits, and then specify, for example, we say in position number 1. we say position number one is equal to choose some other fruit of your choice, and then you can say apples. Okay, so we can say grapes. We say grapes, and then we save this. That means this list has been updated that in position number one we have grapes now. Instead of orange, now orange go to position number two. So when we run this for the other time, we say print with save. Run. We shall have pineapples, grapes, mangoes. What does it indicate? It indicates that in position number one we have grapes. Then what was there? There were orange. So position number one fruit has been replaced by grapes. So this is replacing a value in a list, not adding it there. When we are going to add there, we don't just use a position, we use append. So let's append something there and see it's going to work. For example, this is we can give it a title and say replacing an item. Okay, and then you can say adding an item. So here we can use append. Here we use appending. How we are going to say fruits. We can say fruits dot append fruits dot append, and then can say tomatoes. And then different fruits. So we have added tomatoes on this. That is adding an item on the list. As I said, lists are mutable. So that is one way of muting something in a list. And now, when we want to insert something in a specific position, we use inserting. For example, inserting. Now, we are inserting pineapples on position number one. Maybe we can insert some other thing. Let's insert an apple. Apple. We are inserting it in position number one. We are not replacing something in position number one with apple, but then we are inserting something else there. This is different from replacing an item, so don't confuse the two. Now, if we run this, you see we have apples. Yeah, an apple here on position number one. Remember, we had replaced what was in position number one with the grapes. Now grapes is coming in position number two because we have inserted something else on the list. Yeah, so we continue because lists are mutable, so we can do very many operations on them. Now we can do the pop index. This removes an item. When you say pop, you are removing that specific item. And now you specify which item you want to remove. For example, I have my list here. I bring back the list. I have my list here, but then I feel like I don't want to see the word mangoes. So I first check on which position is the word mangoes. Position number 01 to 30 is in position number 3. So if it is in position number 3, how can I go about that? This is what can be done. So I'm going to say fruits dot pop and then say it is in position number 3. When I do this, okay, it means what is in position number 3 will be deleted. So we can say deleting an item. So here we can say print fruits. So when we print fruits, I will realize that the word mango is not part of our list of fruits. So one more operation that is remaining is maybe determining the length, how many values this list has. So you can say length. So when we say length, we can say fruits, we say length. Length meaning the length. So we say print, we say length, and then we say fruits. So there we are trying to understand how many fruits are there. So here they are giving us 4 because it is the final list of fruits that we have there. So with that being said, I will call it the study of lists in Python programming. Yeah, so you can say these were lists. Now, the studying lists automatically go to tupples. So you can say tupples. The difference between the two is that lists are mutable and tupples aren't mutable. It's not the only difference, but then it is the main difference. Maybe we did talk about the concatenation, how to combine lists. Okay, maybe talk about it as well. Why I got tupples. So we can have two lists and then we add them together. We can have, let me say, list 1 equaling to maybe 1 and 2. And then list 2 equaling to 3 and 4. So we can concatenate this list called concatenation. 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 This concatenation. So we can say final. We say it is equal to list 1 plus list 2. So when we print the final, we shall have a combination of two lists. Now we are printing final. So when we save this and then run it, something is wrong somewhere. Name as 2 is not defined. I think there is. This is capital L. I have small l. So we run. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is what we call list concatenation. So with that being said, let's dive into tupples. Now, a tuple is an ordered but unchanged collection of items. The characteristics like the way they differ from the ones of lists, that for them they are ordered and immutable. Though they allow duplicates and they are written using parentheses, or what we can call the normal brackets. Yeah. So we are going to use the same example of fruits. So let me copy this. Control V. So this and the parentheses or the normal brackets. So this is a list of, a tuple of fruits. When we want to output it, I will use the same thing like we did using fruits. So the way of outputting remains the same. For example, I say print fruits, I can say print fruits, and then say, then I run. So still the same fruits will be output. Therefore, the way of output, the way of printing fruits and the way of printing tuples and lists remains unchanged. We can print something else. For example, we can say that save and run. When we run, the same thing happens. We are outputting what is in position number 1. But you realize that we have pineapples, oranges, and mangoes. Mainly because, mm, let me see, it is what we have in the first place. We don't have this change when we bring back. There is this list here: pineapples, apple, grapes, and tomatoes. This was the list, and we are done working with that. So we are working with the original file or the original tuple, which has 3 fruits in it. So the output is that one. So yeah, we can continue. Mm. Operations. Which operations can we do on tuples? Let's have very many operations, but then tuples, because they are immutable, but they don't have very many operations. For example, we can look for the ring on lists. We just look for the ring. Yeah. So I can say print like lists, ln standing for ring. We say fruits. We close all the brackets. Save, and my ring would be 3. If the output is not 3, then I'm wrong. So let's run. we are running, and the output is 3 as I've said. So basically those are tupples, and the advantages are they are faster than lists, data cannot be modified accidentally, and they are useful for fixed data since they are immutable. Then we can also look at sets and dictionaries. A set is an ordered collection, an ordered collection of unique items, and a set contains an ordered items. There are no duplicate variables. Values, it is mutable, and it is written using curly braces or the curly brackets. Let's dive into them and write an example of a set of items. So you can say we have, let me use something else. And say we have colors. So we are going to sets, hashtag sets. So we can have our colors, and you say the first color is blue. And say I said they are written using parentheses. They are using curly braces. So the first color is, for example, red. Yeah, the second color may be orange. The third color may be green. So I'm specifically using those three colors to explain the concept of sets in Python programming. Yeah, so we have our set there. How can we print out our set? This is simpler, not like tupples and lists. We just say print. I will say print colors. When we say print colors, we save and run. We're going to print them out: green, red, orange. Yeah. So from there, now we know we are working with a set. We continue. We can add items to a set. Now, when we're adding items to a list, we use the append. And now a set, we don't use append. We use add. That's the difference here. So we can say colors dot add using the same syntax. Say and say one and say blue. So right now when we print colors, now position number 1, we should be having blue. Okay, there's something set dot add text exactly on admin who are given. So we only need one item here. When you say blue, you can just remove the positioning and then run. So now blue is coming at the last as the last value in a set. We can as well remove items. You can say colors dot remove. And then you can just specify what to remove. For example, you can say have to remove green. So I save. After saving, I print colors. So I have printed colors. Don't see. Have we removed that item? Yeah. Good. The green value is being removed from our set. Then we continue with operations. Here we can look at the union, intersection, and the difference. Those are the main operations you can work with while dealing with sets, though you can work with as many operations as possible. But then I only talk about the union, intersection, and the difference. For example, we have two sets. Now we are going to the numbers that we are dealing with. Uh, we can use colors as well, but then let me just create some other sets. For example, I can say set 1 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I am stop at 4. Okay. So this is our set 1, and then set 2. Set 2 is equal to, this is our even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, we have our two sets there. And now we are looking at set operations. We'll just type it here. Set operations. Okay, now we are going to do union operation. How do we do union operation? Just say print set 1 dot union set, and say print say set 1 dot union, open other brackets and say set 2. We close all the brackets. So this is the syntax for writing the union between the two sets A, A and B. Set 1 is A, set 2 is B. So yeah, when we print this out, we shall see 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. As we said when we are starting, sets don't contain duplicate values. So because we have 2 here and 2 here, we are only going to write 2 once. 4 here and 4 here, we write 4 once because sets don't contain duplicate values. Now, that was one operation. Now, when we can go to some other operation, whereby I said we are going to talk about intersection and difference as well. Now, using the same syntax, we just change the word. We can say, now this was union and this will be intersection. Intersection. We say, now, what do you expect before we go there? We expect 2 and 4 only. If something else is output, then we are very wrong. Yeah, 2 and 4 have been output. Yeah, so our sets are still working correctly. Using the same syntax, we are going to look for the difference, set difference. You can say set 1 difference. Set 2. So what are we doing there? We are seeing 1 and 3. Why are we seeing 1 and 3? Because 1 is in set 1 and not in set 2. 3 is in set 1, but not in set 2. Now, someone will ask, what if we say set 2, difference set 1? There we are going to only see 6 and 8 because we are looking for what is in set 1 here that is not in set 2. But when you put set 2 here and set 1 here, it means you're looking for what is in set 2, but not in set 1 here. So that is the criteria we use here. I think we are done with sets. We can look at dictionaries and then we call it a day. So dictionaries store data in key value pairs. They are mutable, they are ordered, they must be unique and written using curly braces. Like sets. These ones actually they are like sets, but then they take different values. They are ordered, not just like sets. Okay, now how do we write dictionaries, or how do we create a dictionary? An example of a dictionary. Dictionaries. So here is an example of a dictionary. We have the name. We specify name, but age. You can say age. For example, you can say maybe Gilbert's age is 17. So age 17. What's BCS? Now, when we print student, we are going to get the whole of this as an output. Let's save and we run and see what we come. So you see what we are getting. We are getting name, Gilbert, age 17, post, BSc. Suppose this is not what we want, or suppose we may want to output one thing, we can just specify and say maybe I want a name. The way you see them inside the dictionary, they act like variables. You can use them as variables or you can use their positioning. So when I say print, and then I say student, and then I say what I need in position number 0. What will be output? We are seeing a key error. Why are we seeing the key error? 965 print student 0. Let me just specify as how they want it, not just using the positioning. Let's say age. Yeah. When I say age, I run. Still facing the error, so put them in sessions. Yeah. So it's running well. Now I have specified I need the age. When I need the name, and say name, save, run. So there my name will be output. That is how we can output a specific value in a dictionary. Now we can still update values there. For example, if Gilbert is not 17, but if he is 40, what do? You do this. You say the student and then you say we talk about his age. And now the age, because it was 17, now you can say no. According to how I see him, he's 45 years. So you save and then you can decide to print again and see if They've changed it. Mm, yeah. Change it age. So after changing its age, we actually see 45 instead of 17, which was there in the first place. Now, mm, we can also talk about removing items, and then we shall end with looping through a dictionary. How do you remove an item in a dictionary? Uh, like we said in, in lists, what did we say removing an item? Like we said we use pop. So we are going to use pop as well. Shall say student dot pop course, and if we say student, then we will not see the course. So we save and run. So the course is not being output. We have removed an item from a dictionary. And then uh, we can look at looping now through a dictionary. So we say looping through a dictionary. So how do we deal with looping through a dictionary, for example? We are going to use the for loop. But if we loop the key vary in students, what is output? We can see what is being output. We are going to see name. Let me try to make this one observable. Let's see. Okay. Okay. And this one there. So we are going to see name and age. Why are we seeing name and age? Because these are the keys. These are what tell us what we are going to output. For example, when you say name, Gilbert. So this is the key, and this is the value. When you say keys, that is what we actually output. You look through them. Now, you may decide to output the values, and now you can say, oh, instead of saying key, say value in student, and then here we say dot values specifically. That is the syntax. So when we save this and run it, we shall see the name Gilbert appearing, and the age 45. Yeah, so that's where we are. I think we are winding up. So we can output the key value pairs. We will output the key and the value, as in what the print statement does. So there we use for key value. We specify that we want the key first and the value second. Now, when we run this, we shall see name Gilbert age 45. But then someone will say, what if I start with value and then end with key? Here the reverse will be true. You will output something that starts with Gilbert name, 45 age, basic course. Let's look at that. Copy, paste. Now, you can say, for me, I need my key in front, not in the first press. I say key. Right here, you can say key. I save. When I save and run this, see? Uh, yeah, that is what is saying output, which is unchanged. So the value here, the word you put in the first press doesn't matter. As long as this is the key, this is the value. So I think we are ending here with the comparison table. Whereby the lists are ordered, mutable, and allow duplicates. Suppose are ordered, not mutable, and allow duplicates. The sets are unordered, they are mutable, and don't allow duplicates. The dictionaries are ordered, mutable, they don't allow duplicates, but then they have keys. So that's basically what we have studied today, and I remain Gilbert. I wish you well. Thank you so much. The Lord God bless you.